The phone rang at exactly 8:45 in the morning. I knew it was Clara before I even checked the screen. My daughter always called at this time. Not too early to disturb me, she thought, and not too late to catch me before I headed to the backyard. Funny how she didn't know I'd been up at 5 every morning for the past 55 years. Hiram Whitaker speaking. I said, deliberately formal. It annoyed Clara, which gave me a quiet thrill. Dad, how many times do I have to tell you it's caller ID? I know you see it's me. Clara's voice carried its usual blend of irritation and superiority. How's my day going? I asked lightly. Woke up above ground. So it's not terrible. Daddy? She sighed, using that tone she'd perfected over the years, like she was humoring a grumpy child. We're having a barbecue this Saturday. Ethan got a big promotion, and we're celebrating with his coworkers and bosses. You need to come. Not exactly an invitation, I muttered, staring out at my neatly trimmed lawn. The last thing I wanted was a day surrounded by loud strangers who didn't care about me, listening to tales of my son-in-law's success while pretending my presence meant something to Clara. Clara, I'm not sure about that. Daddy, she cut in, her voice firm, leaving no room for argument. This matters to Ethan and me. Noah will be there too. You barely see him. Whose fault is that I wanted to snap? But I stayed silent. My grandson, like his parents, only showed up when Clara needed money for his private school or some new extracurricular. I'll think it over, I said. Daddy, it's not optional, she replied sharply. Be there at 2. Bring your famous lemon tart, and be nice to the guests. Got it. I gripped the phone tighter. Once, my little Clara would beg for bedtime stories and wrap her arms around me before sleep. Now she spoke to me like I was a frail old man who needed managing. Understood. Clara, I said, letting weariness seep into my voice. Let her think she was in charge. I'll be there at 2 with the tart. Good, she said, relief clear in her tone. And Dad, wear something decent, please. Not those ratty old sweaters. Ethan's boss will be there. I could have told her that at 78. I could wear whatever I damn well pleased, and my sweaters were worth more than Ethan's entire wardrobe. Instead, I said, Of course, sweetheart. See you Saturday. She hung up without a goodbye. I set the phone down and looked at the photo of Margaret on the mantel. My Maggie, with her bright eyes and warm smile, had passed 8 years ago from cancer. We'd been married 45 years. Everything changed after she was gone. You should see what our daughter's become. I whispered to her picture. When Maggie was alive. Clara came every weekend with Ethan and little Noah. We'd have family dinners. Maggie teaching Noah to bake cookies. Me showing him how to build birdhouses. Back then, Ethan hadn't climbed the ladder at his accounting firm, and they struggled with their mortgage. I helped them out monthly, never mentioning it. Maggie believed in keeping it quiet. After she passed, Clara's visits dwindled, monthly at first, then every few months. Now only for special occasions or when she needed something. But she called weekly to make sure I was still alive and hadn't done anything foolish with our money. I chuckled. If only she knew how much I really had. A health inspector's salary wasn't much, but I'd always been frugal and started investing early. My financial advisor, Robert, said I had a gift for picking smart stocks. Clara thought I lived off my pension and a small savings account, oblivious to the fact that I paid for Noah's private school and their annual trips to the Rockies. I sighed and headed to the kitchen. A lemon tart wouldn't bake itself, and I never broke a promise. not even to Clara. The next 2 days were spent preparing for the inevitable challenge. I washed my best shirt, ironed my slacks, and even went to the barber, though my thick, silver hair didn't really need it. I tried not to think about the barbecue, but my mind kept drifting to the last time I saw Clara, 4 months ago, at Noah's 17th birthday. They threw a huge party. I gave him a check for $1,500. Not the most original gift, but the only one he'd accept without a smirk. Clara spent the evening introducing me as my dad, a bit old school. Ethan interrupted my stories 4 times, saying, "Sorry, Dad, but no one's interested in those ancient times." Noah glanced at the check, said, "Thanks," and walked away without a hug. I remembered how Maggie taught Clara to be grateful for gifts and respect elders. Somewhere along the way, our daughter forgot those lessons or decided they didn't matter. Saturday morning, I woke with a heaviness in my chest. Not physical, my doctor said my heart was like a 60-year-old's, but emotional. A sense of another day filled with condescension and forced smiles. "Hang in there, old man," I told my reflection as I tied my tie. Just one day. I chose the dark blue suit Maggie gave me for our 40th anniversary. It still fit perfectly. Thanks to daily walks and gardening, I added silver cufflinks, a gift from Clara for my 75th birthday, back when she remembered such things. At 11:30, I started the tart. The recipe came from Maggie's mother's cookbook. I measured ingredients carefully, mixed the batter, squeezed the lemons. The process always calmed me. Maggie used to say I had a surgeon's hands, steady and precise. While the tart baked, I sat with tea and an old photo album. Here was Clara at 7, missing front teeth, proudly holding her first bike. At 15, shyly smiling before a school dance, her graduation, college, wedding. When did it all change? When did my loving daughter become this cold, calculating woman? Maybe when Noah was born. Clara became more intense, ambitious, or when Ethan got his first promotion, and they moved to a fancier suburb, or when Maggie died, leaving no one to soften the growing rift between us. The timer's beep broke my thoughts. The tart was perfect, golden and fragrant. I packed it carefully for transport. Clara and Ethan's house was a 25-minute drive, in a sleek new suburb with identical high-end homes and manicured lawns. I never understood paying so much for a house that looked like every other. My old Victorian cost half as much, but had character and history. I parked my Buick, which Ethan mocked as outdated, and paused, looking at the house. Through the wide windows, I saw people inside and in the backyard, music playing, laughter ringing, the smell of grilled meat, a happy family celebrating, and me, a stranger playing the role of doting father. I took a deep breath, grabbed the tart, and stepped out. Each step toward the house made me want to turn back and drive away. But I couldn't. Not for Clara, but for the promise I made myself to be better than how they treated me. The door opened before I knocked. Clara, flawless in a light blue sundress, perfect hair and makeup, looked me over critically. "Daddy, you're late," she said instead of hello. I glanced at my watch. It was 1:59. "Sorry. Honey? Traffic." I lied, avoiding a fight. She took the tart and frowned. "Lemon, I thought you'd bring blueberry. Ethan's guests prefer berries. You asked for my specialty." I reminded her. "That's lemon." She sighed like a martyr. "Fine. Whatever. Come in." Everyone's here. I followed, mentally counting to 10. It was going to be a long day. Clara and Ethan's house was alive with activity. Guests with drinks everywhere. Laughter. The scent of barbecue and perfume. I felt like I'd stepped into someone else's movie. The setting was beautiful, but I didn't belong. Dad, remember David Larson, Ethan's company vice president? Clara gestured toward a tall man with a trimmed beard. Sure, I lied, extending my hand. Good to see you again. David. Likewise. Mr. Whitaker, he said, shaking my hand with polite indifference. Clara's told me so much about you. I doubted that. My daughter avoided mentioning me unless she had to. Daddy was a health inspector, Clara said, as if explaining a minor curiosity. He dealt with trash problems. Honorable work, David said carefully. Must have been interesting. Oh, don't get him started. Clara laughed. We'll all go hungry. Dad can talk forever about restaurant health codes. David smiled politely and slipped away as another guest approached. Clara glanced around. Dad, get a drink and meet people. I need to check the grill. She left me alone among strangers. I moved to the drink table, trying to look at ease. A good scotch, I thought, might make this bearable. Grandpa, I turned. Noah stood there, tall for 17, dark hair a mess, perpetually bored. He wore expensive jeans and a band tee I didn't recognize. Noah, great to see you. I smiled. How's school? He shrugged. Pouring soda? It's okay. Your mom said you're into coding. How's that dropped it? He said, sipping. Got boring. I nodded, unsure what to say. We used to talk for hours. Me teaching him fishing, birdhouse building, stargazing. Now, there was a wall between us. Grandpa, gotta go, Noah said suddenly, looking past me. Friends are here. He walked off without waiting for a reply. I saw teens gathering in the backyard. Clara must have let him invite buddies. I poured a scotch and stepped aside, watching. Ethan stood at the grill, surrounded by colleagues, loudly telling a story. Clara fluttered among guests, the perfect hostess. Noah and his friends stayed apart, glued to phones. I felt like a ghost, seen but not truly there. Are you Clara's father? A woman approached. Yes? Hiram Whitaker, I said. Linda Harper, wife of Ethan's coworker, Tom. She smiled. You must be proud of your daughter. Such a lovely family. Successful husband. Very proud, I said automatically. Family's everything. Linda went on. My parents live with us. At their age, being alone is hard. Do you live with Clara? No. I have my own place. Oh, she looked sympathetic. Must be tough alone at your age. I'm 78, not 110, I said, irritated. I do fine on my own. Linda flushed. Of course. Didn't mean to offend. Just my parents. Excuse me. I need my husband. She hurried off. I sipped my scotch. Bitterness, not just from the drink. 15 minutes in. And I wanted out. Daddy? Clara appeared. Already drinking. Please don't overdo it. Remember Christmas? I'd had 3 glasses of wine and told a joke Ethan deemed inappropriate. Clara, it's my first. I said, good. She raised her hands. Just worried. At your age, alcohol. At my age, I cut in. Scotch is one of the few pleasures left. She rolled her eyes. Okay. Dad, just don't lecture on aging's joys. We'll eat soon. Don't hide. Mingle. She left, my face burning with humiliation. Each visit here made it clearer Clara was ashamed of me. I finished my scotch and stepped outside. Maybe fresh air would help me endure. Clara's backyard was pristine, with perfect grass, high-end furniture, and a sparkling pool. Men crowded the grill, discussing stocks. Women chatted under a large umbrella. Teens lounged by the pool. I found a quiet chair and sat, watching. No one noticed me, which was fine. Better invisible than pitied or mocked. My thoughts turned to Maggie. How would she handle this? She'd find a way to warm the crowd, make everyone feel at ease. She had that gift. Without her, I'd lost my knack for charming conversation. Daddy Clara's voice broke in. Why are you alone? Come eat. We're startin'. I stood and approached the long table, covered in a white cloth. My seat was at the far end, near the kids. Typical Clara, far from the important guests. Ethan took the head seat and raised his glass. Friends, I'm thrilled you're here. He smiled, a grin that never reached his eyes. Thank you for sharing this moment. After 12 years with the company, I'm now CFO. Cheers and congratulations rang out. It was a team effort, Ethan continued. I thank my wonderful wife, Clara, for her support. All eyes turned to Clara, who smiled modestly, though I knew she was thrilled inside. Status was her everything. And my son, Noah, who put up with my late nights and weekend work. Ethan nodded at Noah, still on his phone. And our corporate family, especially David, who believed in me. David raised his glass. And my father-in-law, Hiram. Ethan gestured to me, eyes turning my way, who's always been a model of hard work. His tone dripped condescension, making me cringe. I smiled and raised my glass. To Ethan, I said, everyone toasted. Dinner began, conversations swirling around me. I ate quietly, a steak overcooked, a salad too vinegary. No one spoke to me, and I didn't try to join in. What could I say to people discussing investments, real estate, and new cars, Mr. Whitaker? David suddenly said, Clara mentioned you were a health inspector. I nodded, surprised. Yes. 40 years. Must have seen a lot. He smiled. Worst violation you found? I started a story about a diner with rats in the pantry. One I knew how to make engaging. Halfway through, Ethan laughed loudly at someone else's joke. Stealing attention? Sorry. Daddy, Clara said with a guilty smile. Tell it later. David, heard about Wilson's new project? I was invisible again. I finished my meal slowly, watching these confident people laugh at jokes I didn't find funny. My world and theirs were parallel, touching only here. After dinner, guests scattered. I helped clear dishes despite Clara's protests and went to the pool. The day was hot, the water inviting, but I wouldn't swim. No trunks, and I wasn't exposing my old body. Hey, Grandpa, Noah appeared. Mom said you were a great swimmer once. Not great. I smiled, warmed by his interests. But on the college team. Cool, he said, seeming curious. Best time I told him about my youth. Races, early practices. Noah listened, asked questions. And for a moment, hope sparked. Maybe my grandson wasn't lost to me. Hey, Noah, a friend called. Come check Jason's new game, Noah shouted back, then turned. Sorry, Grandpa, gotta go? Sure. I nodded. Nice talking. He ran off. I stayed by the pool, staring at the water, remembering my youth. I dreamed of architecture, designing grand buildings, but life took another path. After my father died, I left school to support my mother. The health inspector job was stable, with a good pension. No regrets, it let me provide for my family. Give Clara the education I never had. Dad? Clara's voice cut in. You've been alone all day. Why not mingle? I was talking to Noah. I said, yeah. He mentioned your swim stories. She sighed. Dad, no one cares about tales from 60 years ago. Noah did. He's just polite, she said, with that mix of pity and annoyance I hated. Look, maybe go home. You look tired. I'm fine, I said stubbornly. Come on. Dad, you're not comfortable here. These people are decades younger. What can you talk about life? Clara, I said, meeting her eyes, life didn't start with your birth or end with my age. She rolled her eyes. Here come the aging wisdom lectures. I don't lecture. Yes, you do. Her voice rose suddenly. You always do. You come here, preaching your old-fashioned wisdom. Think my guests want stories about rats in 50s diners. Guests glanced our way. Clara, let's not, Daddy. She lost control. I invited you because you're my father, but you sulk all day, refusing to engage, then act like I disrespect you. I didn't say that, I said quietly. Not with words, with looks. You think I don't see how you judge us. Our home, our friends, like we're not good enough for the great Hiram Whitaker. Everyone stared. I flushed with shame and anger. Clara, you're wrong. I never, you know what. Daddy? She stepped closer, eyes blazing with new fury. You need to cool off before I could react. She shoved my chest. I stumbled, arms flailing, and fell into the pool. Cold water swallowed me. Disoriented for a moment, I surfaced, gasping. My suit was heavy, soaked. My glasses fell off, the world a blur. Through ringing ears, I heard laughter. Everyone was laughing. My own daughter pushed a 78-year-old man into a pool, and they found it funny. Cool off, Daddy Clara shouted, sparking another wave of laughs. I swam to the edge, struggled out, water dripping, suit clinging. I fumbled for my glasses at the pool's bottom and put them on, wet. Now I saw clearly Clara still laughing, Ethan hiding a smirk, David and others chuckling, Noah filming on his phone. No one asked if I was okay. No one offered help, just laughter and grins. I walked through the house silently, leaving wet footprints, grabbed my things, and left in my car, not caring about soaked seats. I let myself do something I hadn't in years cry, from humiliation and pain. But the tears dried quickly, replaced by a cold, hard resolve. That was the last time Clara would shame me. The last time. I got home, drenched, heartbroken, humiliated. My car smelled of chlorine. My shirt stuck to me, my hair slick. My favorite suit, Maggie's last gift, was likely ruined. In the hallway, I peeled off wet clothes, tossed them into the laundry, and headed for the bathroom. Under the hot shower, I let the water wash away the chlorine, and it seemed years of bitterness. Each drop, sliding down my old frame, carried away pain, leaving behind a steely determination. Dried and robed, I sat on the bed's edge, looking at Maggie's photo. What would you say? Love, I asked softly. That Clara's just upset. She didn't mean harm, forgive and forget. The picture was silent, but I knew Maggie's words. She'd always defended Clara, finding excuses. She's impulsive, like you were. She works hard. She's tired, not cruel. And I'd give in, for Maggie's sake, forgiving Clara endlessly. But Maggie was gone, and my patience was spent. I walked to the window. Outside, the summer evening settled, birds singing their last in the yard. My small, well-kept world, built through years of care. My home, every corner holding memories of a happy life with Maggie. The home Clara saw as her future inheritance, without ever asking what I wanted. In that moment, I made a choice, not from anger or spite, but a cold, rational decision. I was changing my life now. First, I grabbed my phone and dialed. "Robert, it's Hiram," I said to my financial advisor, apologizing for calling on his day off. "Hiram, no problem," he replied. "Something wrong?" "Yes." I took a deep breath. "I want to completely change my financial plans." A pause. "That's big." "Hiram, better Monday at the office, no." "Robert, start now." My voice was firm. "First, close the account Clara uses, the one paying Noah's tuition." "Right. Close it. Transfer the balance to my personal account." "Okay." Robert sounded puzzled but professional. "Anything else?" "Yes. Stop all regular payments to Clara and Ethan's accounts. Every one." "Hiram, there's their mortgage payment." He said, "I know. Cancel it. And Noah's school fees." "Yes." A pang of regret hit, but I pushed it aside. "All payments. It'll shock them," Robert said cautiously. "I'm sure. Hiram, forgive me. But are you okay? Fight with Clara?" I smirked. "If he knew." "Robert, you're my advisor, not my therapist. Follow my instructions." "Of course," he said. "All business. I'll do it. But recommend Monday office review of your strategy. Changing family accounts might mean rethinking others." "Right. Book me for Monday, 11 in the morning." Done. And Hiram, hasty financial moves rarely work out. Trust me. Robert, nothing hasty here. 8 years waiting for change. That's enough. I ended the call and dialed another. "Thompson and Associates." A woman answered. "Good evening. Hiram Whitaker? I need Michael Thompson. Urgent. Mr. Thompson doesn't work weekends," she said politely. "Can I schedule Monday?" "It's critical. You have his personal number. Mr. Whitaker. I can't his client for 35 years. I interrupted. "It's about my will." Pause. One moment. Minutes later, a familiar voice. "Hiram, Michael here." "What's wrong, Michael?" "I need to rewrite my will completely," I said bluntly. "How fast rewrite?" He sounded stunned. "Entirely yes. Remove Clara and her family as heirs." "Hiram." Cautious tone. Serious decision. "What happened?" "It's personal." "Michael, just tell me how soon." "Monday at the earliest," he said after a pause. "But Hiram, I'd be a bad friend and lawyer if I didn't urge you to reconsider." "Family disputes? It's not a dispute." "Michael?" Irritation rose. "My deliberate choice. Don't try to change my mind." "Okay," he sighed. "Monday at 3. I'll draft, but you can rethink till then. No questions." "I won't rethink," I said firmly. "See you Monday." Next, the realtor, Sarah Miller, a lively woman in her 50s, had sold homes in our area for 20 years. She helped Clara and Ethan buy their place. "Mr. Whitaker?" she exclaimed. "What a surprise, Sarah." "I want to sell my house," I said plainly. "You?" She didn't hide her shock. "You said you'd never move? Plans change?" I cut in. "How fast can we list it?" "Well, appraisal, photos, documents." She mused. "Your house is in great shape, and the area is in demand. A week to prepare, then list." Where to? I hadn't thought it through. But the answer came. Bayside, a coastal town 5 hours from Willow Creek. Maggie and I honeymooned there. Dreamed of retiring there. It never happened. She got sick too soon. But now I could make it real. Beautiful place, Sarah said. Want me to contact Bayside colleagues for options? Yes. Something small, comfortable, preferably with an ocean view. Of course. Pause. Mr. Whitaker. Does Clara know I grinned? No. And I'd prefer you didn't tell her if she calls. Understood, Sarah said carefully. Client confidentiality first. I'll have paperwork ready Monday and visit for appraisal if that works. Perfect. See you at 4. Hanging up, I felt lighter. 3 calls, and my life was shifting. I went to the cabinet holding important documents, pulled out a folder of contracts, and reviewed them. Home insurance, changed the beneficiary. Life insurance, same. Bank accounts, investments, stocks 45 years of assets, Clara's name on many as heir or trustee. I made a detailed list of changes. It took over an hour, but I wasn't tired. Each decision fueled me, like shedding a heavy load carried too long. My phone pinged. A message from Clara. Dad, you okay? Left so fast? Just a joke. No offense. A joke? She thought humiliating an old man in front of strangers was funny. I didn't reply right away. Kept working on papers. Resolve hardening. After finishing, I picked up the phone and typed a short response. I'm fine. Got wet. But home safe. Feeling under the weather. I'll stop by tomorrow to grab the cane I left. The cane was a lie. I'd never owned one, but it gave me an excuse to visit their house one last time before cutting Clara out for good. Another ping. What cane are you sick? Should I come over classic? Clara doubt my words, then feigned concern. Black cane. Silver handle. Left by the door? Don't come. Just tired. See you tomorrow. A small fib, but it served my purpose. I needed time to let anger cool into certainty. Okay, if you're sure. Get well. Noah says your pool video got 40 likes on his social media already. I stared, stunned. My grandson posted my humiliation online, and Clara thought to share it, as if it was something to boast about. My last doubts vanished. I didn't respond. Put the phone away and stood. I needed a walk to clear my head. The evening air was warm, scented with the lavender I'd planted years ago. I walked familiar streets, nodding to neighbors, thinking of my future. Oddly, no anger or resentment, just calm determination. Back home. I opened my laptop to a Bayside real estate site, browsing small homes and condos. I pictured a new life, morning beach walks, fishing, maybe swimming again. I could live as I chose, free from Clara's expectations or feeling like a burden. I marked a few properties for Sarah and closed the laptop. Night fell, the house quiet. In the bedroom I'd shared with Maggie, I lay staring at the ceiling. I'm doing it, Maggie, I whispered. A new life without them. For the first time in years, I slept without pills, feeling strangely at peace. Sunday morning brought sunshine and birdsong. I woke early, as always, but felt different, like I'd shed 10 years overnight. After a shower and breakfast, I tended the garden before heading to Clara's. Working with plants always soothed me. I trimmed hedges, pulled weeds, watered Maggie's beloved roses. For a moment, I thought I'd miss this garden. Then I imagined a new one, smaller, by the ocean. Maggie would approve. At 1, I showered again, put on a fresh shirt and pants, and left. On the way, I stopped at an antique shop and bought a black cane with a silver handle, as described. The clerk raised an eyebrow when I left it behind. I'll pick it up later, I said. No explanation. Driving to Clara's, I felt oddly calm. Yesterday's pain had faded, replaced by cold resolve. I wouldn't make a scene or argue. I just wanted to see their home one last time, where Clara built a life that had no place for me. Their cars were in the driveway, everyone home. Perfect. I rang the bell, stood tall, shoulders back. Ethan opened, confusion flickering. Hiram, didn't expect you. Texted Clara about picking up my cane, I said calmly. Oh, right, the cane. He nodded, clearly unaware. Come in. Clara's in the kitchen. I stepped inside, looking around as if for the first time. Spotless hallway, expensive art, designer furniture. The house I'd quietly funded for years. Daddy Clara emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands. Feeling better? Much better. Thanks. I smiled. Just here for the cane. What cane? She frowned. You didn't have one yesterday. Left it by the front door? I said smoothly. Black. Silver handle. Daddy. You're confused, Clara said, with that pitying look I despised. We don't have a cane. Strange. I feigned puzzlement. Maybe a guest took it. It was your mother's gift. Clara and Ethan exchanged glances, their eyes saying, He's losing it. Daddy, Mom never gave you a cane, Clara said gently. Dream it? Maybe? I shrugged. At my age, reality and dreams blur sometimes. Want some tea? She offered, clearly worried. Gladly. I nodded. In the kitchen? Noah sat, eyes on his phone. Hey, Grandpa? He mumbled, not looking up. Hello, Noah? How's the video getting lots of likes? He glanced up, confused. What the video of me in the pool? Your mom said it's online. Clara, pouring tea, froze. Dad, I didn't. Noah says your pool video got 40 likes on his social. I quoted her text. Right? Noah flushed, ducked into his phone. Clara set a cup before me and sat across. Dad, it was a joke. Noah deleted it. Did he? I turned to my grandson. Deleted it? He nodded reluctantly, avoiding my eyes. Yeah, Grandpa? Sorry. I sipped tea. No need to apologize. I get how funny an old man falling in water looked. Pure comedy. Dad? Clara sighed. I've apologized. It was a dumb joke. Didn't mean to hurt you. Of course. I nodded. By the way, about last month's mortgage talk. Her face lit up. She'd mentioned high payments, and I'd hinted at helping. Yes, I meant to bring that up, she said eagerly. The bank raised rates, and we're paying $500 more a month. With Noah's school. It's tough. I thought. I cut in. You could handle it yourselves. Ethan's promoted, and Noah could attend public school. It's not bad I went to one. Silence. Clara stared, stunned. But Daddy? We discussed. I changed my mind, I said, finishing my tea. Thanks for the tea. It was great. I'd better go. No cane here, so I'll buy a new one. I stood, feeling their shocked stares. Clara followed. Daddy. Wait, you okay? You seem different? I feel fine. I smiled. Better than I have in 8 years. 8 years. She frowned. Since Mom. Exactly. I nodded. Thanks for the hospitality. Tell your guests hi next time you push someone in the pool. With that, I walked to the door, their confusion thick behind me. At the door, I turned, looked at my daughter one last time. Take care, Clara. Monday was packed. At 11, I met Robert, my advisor. He'd prepared the documents, and we restructured my finances methodically. Robert probed gently about my reasons, but I deflected. He gave up and followed my instructions professionally. At 3, I was with Michael Thompson, my lawyer and old friend. He looked concerned but didn't preach. We drafted a new will, excluding Clara and her family. Most of my estate went to charities, including one for cancer research, the disease that took Maggie. You sure? Hiram Michael asked as I signed. Final decision. Yes, I said firmly. Absolutely. At 4, Sarah arrived. She inspected the house, admired its condition, and listed minor updates to boost its value. Your home's pristine, Mr. Whitaker, she said sincerely. Rare today. We could get above market and find a buyer fast. We discussed details, and I signed the sale contract. Sarah promised to search for Bayside properties, per my requirements, a small house or condo with an ocean view in a quiet area, ideally with a garden or terrace. That evening, I unplugged the landline and silenced my phone. No distractions. Clara called, of course. I saw the missed calls but didn't return them. Tuesday, I sorted through my belongings. 45 years in this house left a lot to go through. I'd take only essentials: Maggie's photos, her jewelry as keepsakes, a few beloved books, clothes, necessities. The rest could sell with the house or go to charity. Clara kept calling. Tuesday night, she left a voicemail. Daddy, why aren't you answering? I'm worried. If no call back by tomorrow, I'm coming over. I didn't respond. Wednesday morning, Sarah texted about Bayside options, offering to view them Thursday. I agreed. That afternoon, the doorbell rang. I knew it was Clara and chose not to answer. Her knocks grew frantic. Then window, banging and shouts. Daddy, I know you're home. Open the door. Her voice mixed fear and frustration. Later, I heard her on the phone, likely with Ethan. After 10 minutes, the noise stopped. I peeked her car was gone. That evening, another ring. 2 young police officers, sent by a concerned daughter, Mr. Whitaker. One said, Your daughter says she can't reach you. Worried about your health? I'm fine. As you see, I said, opening the door, just taking a break from people. They assessed me, saw I was sound, and left, promising to tell Clara I was okay. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. I answered. Daddy Clara's voice was sharp. What's going on? Why no answers? I nearly lost my mind worrying. I was resting, I said calmly. My right. Resting for 3 days. She nearly shouted. I came. Banged on windows. Why not open? Didn't want to see anyone. Dad, what's wrong? Sick mad at me. If it's the pool. I've apologized. It was a stupid joke. I'm not mad. Clara, I said evenly, I've made a decision. What decision? To start a new life? Pause. What do you mean? Her voice trembled. Just what I said. I'm changing my life. Dad, you're scaring me. I'll come over. No need. I'm in Bayside tomorrow. Bayside? What's there? Looking for a new place to live? Another pause. Longer. You're moving. Her voice shook. Yes. But why the house? Our family home. It's my house, I said, and I'm selling it. Selling it, she screamed. You can't. It's our history. We thought it'd stay in the family. For Noah. I smirked. The same Noah who posted my humiliation online. That Noah, Dad, he's a teenager. He did something dumb. He apologized. After you made him. I sighed. Clara, I'm tired. Let's talk later. No, she yelled. We talk now. You can't sell my childhood home. I can, and I am. But we thought we'd inherit it. It's our future. There it was, the truth. Already planning my inheritance, I asked calmly. No, Dad, that's not what I meant. She backtracked quickly. We thought when you needed help, you'd live with us, and the house would stay ours. I don't need help. I'm fine now. But in 5, 10 years, in 10 years, I'll be 88 and hope to still live independently. If not, there are great retirement homes. Dad, she gasped. You'd choose a home over family. Yes, I said simply. Long pause. Something's wrong, she said finally. You can't upend everything. I've thought for 8 years. Clara, since your mother died, what'd you decide to stop being an ATM for a family who sees me as a money source and a joke? Thursday, I drove to Bayside, leaving my phone behind, with Sarah. I viewed 4 properties and chose a small house with an ocean view. The deal would close in 3 weeks. Back home that evening, I found dozens of missed calls and messages from Clara, Ethan, and Noah, their tones shifting from worry to annoyance and back. Friday morning, Clara showed up unannounced, pale and nervous. Daddy, what's happening? She asked, seeing boxes in the hall. Really moving. Yes. Clara, I bought a house in Bayside. But why? What's wrong with you? Nothing. I'm starting a new life. What about us? Desperation in her voice. I called the bank. You canceled all payments. True. Yes. I'm spending my money on myself. Daddy, she nearly screamed. We relied on that money. We had plans, obligations you knew we counted on. That's your problem. Clara, I said calmly. You don't get it, she cried. Without your help, we can't afford Noah's school. We'll have to cut back. Maybe sell our house. Welcome to reality. I said. Most people live within their means. You're doing this out of spite, she accused. Because of that pool prank. No, Clara. The pool was the final straw. I'm tired of being the invisible family member. Only noticed for money. That's not true, she sobbed. We love you. Maybe. I sighed. But you don't respect me. And without respect, love means nothing. After Clara left, Ethan called, furious. What did you do to Clara? She came home a mess. We just talked, I said calmly, about you pulling our support without warning. Selling the house you promised us. I never promised you the house. Ethan, that's your fantasy. Hiram, his tone shifted, almost pleading. Without your help, we can't pay Noah's school. We'll face major cuts. Welcome to reality. Ethan. Most live within their means. Clara's right, he said bitterly. You're cruel? Maybe. I agreed. But better cruel than a doormat. Saturday, a young couple with a toddler viewed the house. They loved it instantly. Perfect for our family, the husband said, shaking my hand. Thank you for keeping it so beautiful. I smiled, watching the wife show their child the garden. Once, Maggie and I were like them, young, hopeful, with baby Clara. The circle had closed. Sunday, Clara returned with Noah. My grandson looked unusually serious. Grandpa, he began, clearly rehearsed. I'm sorry about the video. It was stupid and mean. Thank you, Noah. I nodded. I appreciate that. And I don't want you to leave, he added hesitantly. I'll miss you. I looked at Clara. Her crossed arms and expression screamed. He apologized. Now forgive and go back. I'll miss you too. Noah? I said. But my decision stands? Daddy Clara snapped. Noah's sincere. Can't you? It's not about apologies. Clara? I cut in. Our relationship's gone too far. You see me as a burden, and I'm done with that role. That's not true, she protested. We're family. Family respects each other. Cares about feelings. You haven't done that in years. They left empty-handed, and I resumed packing, feeling oddly relieved. For the first time in years, I was certain of my choice. Bayside greeted me with bright sun and a salty breeze. I stood on my new home's terrace, listening to gulls, breathing ocean air. A month since that awful barbecue. 3 weeks since moving. The sale of my old house was swift. The deal closed fast. Clara tried to stop it, even consulted a lawyer, but it was my property alone. My new home was smaller, but perfect for a lone old man. 3 bedrooms, a spacious living room with ocean view windows, a practical kitchen, and a terrace where I could watch waves for hours. I spent the first days settling in, arranging furniture, hanging Maggie's photos, planting her favorite flowers in a small garden. Slowly, the house became mine. Bayside was everything Maggie and I had dreamed of. Quiet, friendly, slow-paced, ideal for retirement. Mornings, I walked the beach, up at 5, as always, in shorts and a tee. I'd stroll the surf's edge, collecting shells or savoring solitude. After breakfast, I'd garden or read on the terrace. Afternoons, I visited the local library or a seaside cafe, meeting other retirees drawn to the calm and ocean air. Clara kept calling, but less often. I answered briefly, politely, sharing a little of my new life. Money requests. Firm no, pleased to return, same. Her calls dwindled, then nearly stopped. I felt unburdened, like I'd dropped a heavy load carried too long. For the first time, I lived for myself. No debts, no expectations. One evening, reading on the terrace, I realized I was truly happy. For the first time since Maggie's death, I missed her every moment. But the ache was lighter, free of bitterness. I felt she'd approve. She always wanted my happiness. Weeks passed. I settled into the community, made friends. Thursdays, I played chess with Walter, a retired history professor next door. Tuesdays, I joined a library book club. Weekends, I sometimes fished with locals. One day, I met Ellen Carter, a widow my age who'd moved to Bayside after her husband's death. We bonded over gardening, her admiring my roses. My wife loved roses. I said, especially hybrid teas, for their scent. Your wife was right. Ellen smiled. I love them too. My husband planted a new kind each year. We talked all evening. Ellen was sharp, funny, and didn't pity or patronize me. Unlike some peers, our meetings became regular cafes, waterfront walks, or terrace chats, watching the ocean. Just friendship, 2 lonely souls connecting. One morning, returning from the beach, I saw a strange car outside my house. A black sedan with tinted windows, out of place in our quiet town. Wary, I approached. A man in his 50s, in a stern suit with a clipboard, stood at my gate. Mr. Whitaker, he asked. Yes. I stopped, eyeing him. What's this about? Mitchell Reed, private investigator, he said, handing me a card. Your daughter hired me to find you. I took the card. It looked legit. I'm not hiding, I said. I live openly under my name. True, but you left no address. He smiled. Took some work to track you. And now I asked. I told her where you are. She wants to know you're okay and to meet. I'm fine. I gestured to the house. Settling in well? Glad to hear, he said, eyeing the ocean view. What do I tell Mrs. Bennett? Tell her I'm alive. Well, happy. And not interested in meeting. She was insistent, he said softly. Says there's a misunderstanding to clear. No misunderstanding, I said firmly. I've chosen a new life. I understand. He nodded. But maybe hear her out. Family ties, mister. Reed, I cut in. You did your job. Found me. Confirmed I'm fine. The rest isn't your concern. He raised his hands. Fair enough. I'll pass on your message. He left, and I watched him go. Knowing Clara would show up soon, she never took no for an answer. 3 days later, she did. I was finishing breakfast on the terrace when the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Clara, pale, circles under her eyes, but determined. Daddy? She moved to hug me, but I stepped back, letting her in. Clara. I nodded. Come in. She entered, looking around curiously. Beautiful house, she said, stepping into the living room. That view is incredible. Yes? I agreed. It's what your mom and I always wanted. Why didn't you tell me you wanted to live by the sea? She asked, standing by the window. We could have found something closer to us. Because you never asked what I wanted, I said calmly. Sit. Clara. Tea. Coffee. Please, she said, sitting on the sofa, still scanning the room. You here alone? Anyone help with cleaning, cooking? I can manage my own house and meals, I said, heading to the kitchen. I'm 78, not 110. Remember? I returned with 2 coffees. Clara sat, fidgeting with her designer purse. So, I said, sitting across. Why are you here? She sipped, gathering thoughts. Dad, we need to talk. This is crazy. You can't just vanish from our lives. I can, I said calmly. And I have. But why? She leaned forward. If it's the pool, I've apologized 100 times. Stupid joke. It's not the pool. Clara? I shook my head. It was the last straw. It's how you've treated me for 8 years. How? She looked genuinely confused. We've always looked after you. Really, I smiled wryly. When did you last ask how I feel? Not for show, but truly caring. When did you visit just to spend time? Not for money or Noah's needs. She opened her mouth, then closed it, unable to recall. See, I said softly. To you. I'm an ATM and a burden, not family. That's unfair. Her voice rose. We always invited you to holidays. Events? Yes. And then mocked or ignored me. Remember Noah's birthday? Ethan cut off every story, saying no one cared about old times. You introduced me as your dad. A bit old-fashioned. She looked down, silent. We didn't mean to hurt you, she said finally. Maybe, I said. But you did. Constantly, without mercy. We sat quietly, outside. Waves crashed. Gulls cried. Clara stared at her hands. I at the ocean. Daddy, she said at last, voice shaking. We're in trouble. Without your help, we can't pay Noah's school. The mortgage rate's up. Ethan's job is shaky. He might be laid off. There it was, the real reason for her visit. I'm sorry, I said sincerely, but that's your problem. Clara, not mine. But you're my father, she cried. Noah's grandfather. You can't abandon us. I can, I said calmly. Just as you abandoned me when I needed emotional support, not money. That's different, she shouted. No, Clara, it's the same. Support is support, or it's not. You didn't support me. Why should I support you? Because you're family, she yelled. And you're my daughter, I countered. It goes both ways. She took a deep breath, trying to calm down. Okay, she said. I admit we haven't always respected you like we should. We'll do better, I promise. But we need your help now. Clara, I looked her in the eye. How old are you, 45? You have a grown son, a house, a husband with a good job? You're not helpless kids. You're adults who should own your choices. But we counted on your help, she protested. You supported us for years. Then stopped? Yes. Because you took it for granted. No gratitude, no respect. We're grateful, she insisted. We just didn't show it. Clara, I sighed. What hurt most about the pool wasn't the push or the laughter. It was that no one, you, Ethan. Noah asked if I was okay. A 78-year-old man fell into a pool in his clothes, and no one checked if I was hurt or cold. She opened her mouth, then stopped. And you know what else I continued? When I left, wet and shamed, no one stopped me. No one apologized. Instead, Noah posted it online. Dad, she faltered. We didn't think. Exactly. I nodded. You never think about me. Silence again. Clara finished her coffee. Set the cup down. What can I do to fix this? She asked. Nothing, I said simply. Some things can't be fixed. Too much has passed. Too many hurts piled up. You're cutting us out forever. Her voice broke. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I said honestly. Right now, I want to live for myself. No obligations. No expectations. What about Noah? She tried. He misses you. Wants you back? I doubt it. I smiled. Noah barely noticed me. Except now you're paying his tuition. That's unfair, she snapped. He's your grandson who couldn't look up from his phone to talk, I reminded her. Who posted my humiliation online. Who only called once. Likely because you told him to. Clara stood, angry. You know what, Dad? You're right. We're not perfect. We've been thoughtless. Rude, even. But you're not perfect either. Always stubborn. Thinking you know best. Now you're deciding for us all. No chance to fix it. I'm deciding for me. Clara, I said calmly. Just me. You're free to live as you want. Without your money, she said bitterly. Yes. Without my money. Time to live within your means. She shook her head. I don't know you anymore. Daddy, you were kind, caring, and now I'm caring for myself. I finished. For the first time in years. I'll talk to a lawyer, she said suddenly. You can't disinherit us. It's not right. Talk to anyone. I shrugged. I'm of sound mind. I can do what I want with my property. She stared. A mix of anger, hurt, maybe realization. She'd lost not just my money, but me. Is that your final word? She asked. Yes, I said firmly. She nodded, grabbed her purse, and headed out. At the door, she paused. You know, Dad, she said without turning, Mom would be disappointed. Maybe, I said, but I think she'd understand. She always did. Clara left. I returned to the terrace, sat, and watched the ocean. A strange calm settled over me. No anger, no bitterness, just certainty I was doing right. That evening, Ethan called, furious. You made Clara cry, he shouted. She's a wreck. I just told her the truth, I said calmly. Sorry she's upset. Sorry, he choked on indignation. You're ruining our family over nothing. And you're just sorry I'm not ruining anything. Ethan, it's your financial irresponsibility. Not nothing. Years of neglect and disrespect. You're a selfish old man, he spat. Clara's right, your wife would be ashamed. Maybe, I said, unshaken. But this is my choice, and it's final. We'll sue, he threatened. You can't disinherit us, Try. I said, legal fees are steep, and my will's ironclad, drafted by the best. You've got no shot, Ethan. He unleashed a stream of curses, and I hung up. I didn't block their numbers. Let them call. I wouldn't be manipulated. The next days were peaceful. I returned to my routine beach walks, terrace reading, chess with Walter, chats with Ellen. Life went on, and I savored every moment. A week after Clara's visit, I found a letter in my mailbox. Unfamiliar return address. But I knew the handwriting. Noah. He used to send me cards as a kid, birthdays, Christmas. I opened it. Pulled out a folded sheet. Dear Grandpa, I know Mom visited, and you argued. Things are rough at home. Mom and Dad fight about money constantly. Mom says you abandoned us. Dad says it's her fault. I'm really sorry about the video. I shouldn't have filmed or posted it. It was cruel and dumb. I didn't realize how much it hurt you. I also want to say I miss you. I know I didn't show it before, and you might not believe me, but I miss our talks about stars, birds, your old stories. I'm not asking you to come back or forgive Mom. Just want you to know not everyone in our family sees you as just a wallet. Your grandson, Noah. I read it several times, warmth spreading in my chest. Maybe not all was lost. Maybe Noah was growing, understanding something vital. I decided to reply, not now, but in a few days. After my thoughts settled, that evening, I sat with Ellen on the terrace, sipping wine, watching the sun sink into the ocean, painting it gold and purple. You seemed thoughtful. She said, something wrong. I told her about Noah's letter, Clara's visit, the whole story. Think he's sincere? She asked. I don't know. I said honestly. Maybe. He's always been bright, just lost like many teens. Will you reply? Yes. I nodded. But I won't promise to return or resume payments. I'll just leave the door slightly open for him. She smiled, squeezed my hand. That's right. Hiram, family's messy. Sometimes. Stepping back sparks change. I nodded, gazing at the sunset. Life moved forward. My new life quiet, free of toxic ties, filled with small joys and big possibilities. I didn't know what lay ahead. Maybe Clara and I could mend things if she learned to respect me for me, not my money. Maybe Noah would grow kinder than his parents, or maybe our paths would diverge forever. But one thing I knew, I'd never again be an ATM or a burden. I deserved respect, and I'd finally given it to myself.